Hello viewers, what's going on? It's Super GT here once again with some more NASCAR action. This time around the Nordschleife is going to kick off here. So we are going to let everyone go apart from that guy. Is he going to go? Yes he is. Yes, we're going to let him go as well once he eventually gets going. That guy's going backwards. That's not a good idea. Doesn't normally get you around very quickly. So let's see what we can do here. From 17, I'm enjoying the NASCAR expansion actually. I haven't played it totally as much as I should have done, perhaps. I haven't got very far on the campaign, only done literally the first level on that, or the whatever you want to call it, the career mode. But that doesn't matter, look at this. It's just going to get a complete roadblock across the Nordschleife, and that's not asking much, not in NASCAR, not in Forza Motorsport 6, that happens pretty much every race. But it has happened once again here, and we're somehow in 11th after all that, after all of that chaos and insanity. So a lot of people have asked me, should they get the Porsche pack or the NASCAR pack? Now, I can't really decide for you, but my own personal preference is that I like the NASCAR pack more, mainly because I think the cars are more fun to drive. For me, I like the driving aspect of the game, not so much the cars themselves. Obviously I do like cars, I do like driving cars, that is my main passion. I love racing them and I love driving them, and I do like the way that the NASCARs feel. They feel very pure, very raw, very much driver based. They are in many ways the opposite of Formula 1. Formula 1 has a lot of driver aids. Well, I know they don't have traction control and all that, but they have so many systems in place to try to help the driver drive the car. The NASCAR just seems very pure. There's not any of that electronics or that kind of stuff, and it just feels for a much purer type of racing. But depends what you mean by pure, because when people are getting smashed off left, right and centre, it's not really pure in that sense. Well, I do mean it as in the way the car handles. That guy is just going to fly off into the barrier. What was he doing? I think you're meant to press the brake pedal, mate, not the accelerator when you're going into a turn. And then skipping ahead slightly, we're in 7th. We have found ourselves in 7th. Now you might have noticed this is a 4-lap race. Yes, that is right, 4 laps. You read that correctly. And this guy's just going to kick across. I don't know why he came across there. I was fairly alongside. Obviously very robustly defending, not wanting me to come through. He wants me to finish in 6th. That is where I am again. He wants me to finish there once again. It seems like I have been condemned to finish in this position for the rest of my days, and I will never be able to finish anywhere else if that is what the Forza gods desire. Now coming out of this one, I'm just going to get wide on the curb, and then Muffins just makes contact with me. I'm not going to blame him for that. It was my fault. I shouldn't have been spinning around on the curb. And then as we go up the straight, Muffins is going to feel a little guilty about that, even though I don't think it was his fault. And he's just going to try and let me pass, and I just have to back off. He's going to move to the left, and I'm going to move to the left, and it's, you know, it's just all going to go completely wrong. And then eventually he does let me pass. I think we made a meal of that, really, letting me back pass. I don't think he should have let me pass anyway. Didn't have to do that. It was more my fault anyway. But moving on, you mustn't dwell on these things too long. They have happened. You can't undo them. Well, unless, I don't know, you have some sort of time machine. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. I don't know if you can. Maybe you, yes, you who are watching this right now, maybe you have a time machine and you can go back and sort out errors in Forza 6. But then why would you, if you had a time machine, why would you do that? You wouldn't. You'd go back and have a lot more fun, you know, than sorting out a little bit of a crash on Forza, would you not? But anyway, this guy here, well, you might have seen him, sorry, in the previous NASCAR video I did. Remind you of a couple of incidents we had. Yes, a couple of collisions and a couple of deliberate rams for not much reason. So I was very wary of him as we come into the first turn of lap number 2. So going up the outside, I'm just going to brake normally, and he's just going to drive off. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And that was the last I ever saw of him. Thankfully, and I didn't have to deal with him once again in the race. So that actually put my mind to rest. I'm in 3rd place, So just deciding my pit lane strategy. We do have a quick stop to do in the race, so just deciding when to take it. Now obviously I've gone past the pit lane this lap, but I can take it at the end of lap 2 or the end of lap 3. Now my main decision making process here was just to take it at the end of the race, at the end of lap 3 as late as I could, just so that I could focus entirely on my lap times. Now into the carousel at the halfway mark of lap number 2. This race was not entirely mistake free. We're in third, trying to catch up with second, who's a good couple of 1,000 feet ahead, or 1,500 feet ahead. Yeah, that's right. Well, he was before I made that mistake. Now he's 2,000 feet ahead. So going into the pit lane. No, we're going to go past the pit lane. I just contradicted myself completely. We go past the pit lane at the halfway mark of the race, going past the guy who was in second, who was 1,500 feet ahead, but now he's behind. So this lap is rather crucial, just trying to build that gap so that when I do emerge from my pit stop I am ahead. So that guy who smashed me off in that Le Mans race quitting, and then around the next turn another guy quits, and then around the next turn another guy quit. So the fatality rate was rather high in this race, and I was expecting that after seeing 4 laps. I didn't think many people would stick around, but there's still 8 people left in the race. I'm second out of all of those. So we're going to dive into the pit lane here. Let's see where we emerge on the exit of the pit lane. We are trying to beat Connor Madden here on the exit. So as we come to the exit of the pit lane, very short pit lane here, don't lose as much time as you would around most tracks. We are ahead just about by about a couple of 100 feet, maybe 300 feet. So doing just enough to stay ahead. So we're going to ride on board for a while here. Let's see what we can do around the initial stage of the Nordschleife. I do like this little section here at the start of the track. I do like the twisty section around here, around this track. It's actually one of my favourite tracks, the Nordschleife. I have actually loved it since the Forza 2 days. One of my favourite tracks for sure. Coming down the left-hander. This section here catches out a lot of people. You're going to go up a massive rise, makes the car go light, and then you're approaching a very fearsome right-hander very quickly. That's where a spectator was killed by flying Jan Mardenborough's car last year or the year before in a very scary accident. So that corner really proving how light the car goes as you go over that crest. Now into this left-hander, another very fearsome corner which catches out a lot of people. Into the right-hander before we go downhill. Now I've built up that gap to about 400 feet, but in this faster kind of car, 400 feet counts for less than it would in, say, C-Class. But then by the end of the race, I had a gap of about 2,500 feet, so I was safely through in second, where you have only got 7 people finishing the race. So a very high failure rate for this race, and I wasn't surprised at all. It's taken nearly half an hour, so this, I would consider that, I guess, an entry-level endurance race. So when they said NASCAR endurance, they weren't messing about. They were genuinely making them quite long, and there is confirmation of the results. So the guy in the lead winning very convincingly. Perhaps I could have given him a closer challenge if I hadn't spun out and then made a total mess of trying to retake my position. But there you go, that's the way it goes sometimes. It's not like I'm going to lose much sleep about finishing second in a Forza 6 race. But that is going to bring a close to this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, subscribe for more like this. Hit the like button. Shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.